A lot of people think that in order to progress through grades in bouldering and climb harder routes, you have to get stronger. Further on down the line in your climbing, that will become more true. But as a climber who is brand new to the sport, there are tons of ways to improve without even having to strength train. Emily and I are going to share our top 10 favorite tips to help you progress in your bouldering adventure and branch out to harder climbs.
But before we get into the video, please help us out with a like, comment, and subscription. It takes countless hours to write scripts, film, and edit these videos, and it only takes a second to leave a like. It would really help us out a lot. Also, if you like these tips, be sure to share them with your climber friends or other beginner climbers.
Tip number 1, climb more. It's a given. The more you do something, the better you get. This is very important as your muscles and tendons need time to strengthen and adjust to the strenuous nature of rock climbing. Progression in bouldering can take a lot longer for beginners because the muscles and tendons needed for the sport aren't fully strengthened yet. But by climbing more often, you will become stronger quicker. A good way to climb more often is to set small goals for yourself and find ways to make climbing more fun.
Set yourself a goal of how many times a week you're going to go to the gym and then put that on your calendar to make sure you stick to climbing regularly.
Something I need to do.
Tip number 2, talk to climbers, make friends.
Talking to climbers in the gym is a great way to make friends and also share the strategies or beta for certain routes. They may be more experienced climbers and can offer great insight or have knowledge about a sequence of moves that you might not know yet. Either way, meeting new people is a crucial step in expanding your thought process to trying new routes. It makes climbing more fun when you're able to do it with friends or people you know, and by wanting to climb more often, in turn, you are going to get stronger on the walls.
If you are afraid to talk to new people, just know that climbers are some of the most friendly and welcoming people you will meet, and they do not discriminate against someone because they can't climb as hard as they do. Climbers are family, no matter how strong you are. Climbing with friends is a great way to have fun, and your friends will always push you to climb your hardest.
Tip number 3, patience. All these tips feed very nicely into each other, and that is because there is a progression that happens with bouldering, and it may not happen as quickly as you want it to. Remember that everyone is different and some people progress more slowly than others, and that is okay. Being patient with your climbing progression is very important for avoiding injury by climbing routes you may not be physically ready for yet. Patience will grant your body the time it needs to adapt to the strain climbing puts on it.
As the tendons in your fingers strengthen from climbing more, you'll see that you're able to climb harder than you were before, so patience is crucial. Remember, it's not about the end goal, it's about the journey to get there. I've experienced firsthand how you can pull a tendon by trying something that you're not ready for yet, so just make sure that you're always patient with your journey.
Same too, I've had many finger injuries because I try V8s when I should be staying on 6s.
Tip 4, get good gear. You don't need the highest quality, most expensive gear when you're just starting out. What's more important is having the right gear for certain disciplines and making sure that the gear is able to withstand the challenge of climbing. Shoes are the most important piece of gear in a climber's arsenal, and the type of shoe you use matters.
We recommend you do some research on types of climbing shoes so you know what we're talking about. But if you, a beginner, purchases an aggressive climbing shoe, it is going to be very painful, and you aren't going to want to climb as often, which prevents progression. What is crucial in finding a good shoe for you is finding a good balance between comfort and uncomfort. Find a shoe that is tight to your feet and toes, but doesn't hurt you when you put them on.
It's best to start with a neutral or medium type of shoe. Aggressive shoes are designed for climbers who climb at a very high difficulty, and they wouldn't give as much benefit to a beginner. Neutrals or mediums will give you the perfect amount of grip to feel footholds while not hurting you in the process.
Also, be sure you have some good chalk and a decent bag to store it in. Chalk is super important when it comes to climbing. It's what keeps your hands dry and helps you grip the holds better. But not all chalks are the same though. There's liquid, blocky, chunky, fine, etc. Try out some different varieties and see what you like the most and what helps you climb your best. Something as simple as good chalk and good shoes can even add a whole grade to your climbing. I know this because when I forget my shoes at home and have to use rental shoes, I can't climb my hardest anymore.
Tip number 5, clip your nails. This may seem strange, but hear us out because it's very beneficial to keep your nails short. Short nails will help you to grab smaller holds. Also, there's nothing worse than scraping your long nails against the wall or the holds. It's a really uncomfortable feeling. And if you do have long nails and you try to climb, they're most likely just gonna break.
And I speak from experience here, and I'm sure Emily can also. When I was playing a lot of acoustic guitar, I needed long fingernails to pluck the strings, but it made climbing at a higher level virtually impossible.
Also, if you like to paint your nails, you probably want to take a break from that because there's just no point. They're gonna get chipped and destroyed on the wall.
Tip 6, lose weight. This one is kind of obvious, but the heavier you are, the more weight you'll have to carry up the wall, and in turn, the harder it will be to climb. I'm not saying go on an extreme diet and lose 50 pounds, but losing 5 to 10 pounds can be just enough to get you to your next climbing goal. Also, it can help you live a healthier life.
Tip 7, climb outside. Gym climbing is a great way to simulate outdoor rock climbing, but nothing comes close to the real thing. Climbing outside is harder, yes, but by climbing in different environments, it allows you to experience different varieties of climbing as well as different climbing conditions that you just can't get at the gym.
Climbing outside will also push you to your limits physically and mentally and help you grow as a climber. Also, who doesn't like being out in nature doing something you love? I know I do. And when you love something, you're gonna wanna do it more. It all comes back to tip 1.
If you want to look for places to climb outside, you can start by talking to the staff at your local gym or going to REI and seeing if they have any tips or any guidebooks. You can also look online on Mountain Project and just see what you can find in your local area. Tip 8, route reading. While bouldering is a very physical sport, there's also a mental aspect to it as well. Route reading means that you look at the route before you jump on it and you try to plan out the moves that you're going to do before you get on and use up all your energy. If you jump on a route without taking a proper look at it and seeing where the holds are, you are most likely to get confused and climb slower, which increases fatigue and will decrease your time on the wall.
This applies to all of bouldering, from V1 to V10. Climb the route in your mind before you climb it, so when you are on it, you're already more familiar with it. Tip 9, technique.
You're not doing the technique.
This is arguably going to be the most valuable tip on this list. Good climbing technique is required to climb at your best. Bad technique will keep you from doing certain movements and will drain your strength very quickly.
If you notice yourself standing on holds with your heels or the sides of your feet, try standing on holds with your toes instead. Using the sides of your feet won't let your calves engage properly, and standing up to get to the next hold will take more strength. Standing on your toes, however, will ensure that you are using your body's anatomy to its fullest and will make pressing on a hold more natural to how your body should be moving. Another super helpful tip is to keep your arms straight when gripping a hold. If your arm is flexed at a 90-degree angle when holding, you are going to pump out very quickly. Let your skeleton do the work rather than your muscles. Keeping your arms straight will cause the least amount of strain on your muscles. Blending pulling through your arms and pushing through your legs is very important to climbing with proper technique. Relying on pulling alone will pump you out super fast, but by adding some standing and pressing through your legs, it will greatly reduce pump. To make this even easier, use your body's momentum when moving to hard to reach holds. And remember, don't overgrip holds. This will just make your forearms pump extra fast. Grip the hold with just enough force required to keep you on.
I can't emphasize enough how important this step is to progression. Something as easy as changing how you stand on a hold or using your momentum rather than strength can be a game changer.
Tip 10, step out of your comfort zone. While it is important to climb more, there's also a point where you could be doing yourself a disservice by only climbing what is familiar or comfortable to you. Progression can only truly take place if you climb at or near your limit. This doesn't mean you can't climb fun, easier routes, but maybe every few climbing sessions, spend a few minutes climbing a grade you haven't climbed yet. You might surprise yourself.
Projecting a route in climbing is where you take on a route that is at the peak of your abilities or beyond them, and spend an extended period of time working out the moves and climbing it. It may take weeks to finally send the route, and for expert climbers, sometimes years. If there's a route you wanted to get on that looked fun or challenging, but is a little out of your ability range, this might be where you can project a route. After working out the movements for some time, you're gonna find that you're able to climb harder on it because the movement becomes more familiar.
You might surprise yourself that after projecting something for a couple weeks, you're able to do a climb that you couldn't even do the first move on when you first tried it.
As an example, Emily wasn't even a V5 climber until she projected a V5. And then after that, she was able to do another V5. So it opened the door. So if you're stuck at a certain grade, you might just have to step out of your comfort zone and try something that you don't even think you can do. And by working the moves for a long enough time, you'll become so familiar with them that it won't even be hard anymore. And remember, projecting route doesn't mean pushing yourself beyond your abilities. Keep in mind that all the tips still apply. Be patient, project within your strengths and abilities, and make sure not to hurt yourself, because usually projecting is where most injuries do occur. That concludes the 10 tips for how to climb harder without strength training. We really hope you guys enjoyed the video and that you took something away from it. Have fun on those walls, get stronger, climb hard, and we hope that you break new ground in your climbing adventures. Take care.